Morning, Draco, for the second time. Good morning, Pastor Ransom. Thanks so much for connecting with us this morning. Tay, good morning to you, sis. Good morning, Pastor Linda Lewis. Thank you guys so much for connecting this morning. I'll give it a few more minutes. A couple more people connect just in case somebody's running behind. Good morning to you. I pray that all you guys had a great week this past week. Having a pretty good weekend so far. Good morning, fam. Thanks for connecting with us this morning, bro. Mr. Cam Johnson, thanks so much for connecting with us, bro. All right, great. Good morning to the Dunn family, Britt, Dre, Caden, Cash, Christian, Miss Odom, and Mother Odom. Thank you guys so much for connecting with us. Gwen, good morning to you. Chandra, good morning to you for the second time. Glad you guys connected. Good morning, Miss Alexander. Thanks for connecting with us this morning. We got some good stuff we're going to be talking about this morning. Mr. Keith Chapman, the great prophet, Dr. Keith Chapman. All right, Britt. Tell Christian I said come close to the TV. It's going to be up today. I had to get one last sip of coffee. It was good this morning. Hey, listen, I pray that all of you guys have had. Oh, there's my grandbaby. Tell Riri I said good morning. Good morning, Summer. Um, I pray that you guys have had a great week this morning or this past week. Great weekend experience. I'm telling you what, after today, I'm positive that next week is going to be better for you because you're going to walk into next week with a greater understanding of where you are and what's going on. I believe that there's some great times ahead of us. As you know, a few weeks ago, I made a declaration coming out of my prayer closet to you as a word from the Lord that incredible things were about to happen. Since then, incredible things have happened. I've had people call and share some of the things that's been going on with them. It's not my place to share anybody else's business, but there's some people who've had incredible things happen in their lives over the last couple of weeks, and I think that we're still in a continuation. And so I want you guys to be encouraged. Before we hop into what we're talking about, I do want to say stay prayerful, focused, not distracted, not in your feelings or emotions as a result of everything that's going on in our country. There's still some very concerning things that are happening in our country, but you guys know that whomever occupies the White House does not govern our lives or our outcomes. Our faith and trust is in God. And God is not only the author, but the finisher. So, in conclusion of it all, the will of God will be done in our lives. However, we should be mindful of the things that's going on in our country just because it has the ability to affect our lives directly or indirectly. And that being knowledgeable of these things will help you to know how to direct your prayers and petitions before the Lord. We do want to pray for all who are being affected and have been affected by some of the abrupt changes. And whether they're constitutional or not, you know, we still have to pray for people because it is the will of God that none would perish. And so, perishing as a result of something as simple as an executive order should not be named among us as we live in what is supposed to be the capital of the free world. Things are changing quickly, but God is still on the throne, which means that he can turn it around in a moment, regardless of what's going on and where you guys are, or what your friends, family, or loved ones may be experiencing. But this morning, I have something I'm so excited to share with you guys about. And so I want to hop in there really quickly. I'll read two passages of scripture from the Gospel of St. Matthew. That's St. Matthew, chapter number 23. St. Matthew, chapter number 23. In verse number 11, it says something incredible. I'm reading from the King James Version. It says, "But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. He that is greatest among you shall be your servant. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased. And whosoever shall humble himself shall be exalted." I'll read that again. "But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. And whosoever exalt himself shall be abased. And he that shall humble himself shall be exalted." Okay, so this is Christ. He's, of course, he's talking to his disciples directly in this instance. And we don't have to give the backstory because this is not a theological teaching. I just want to just give you share some insight about what's happening as it relates to this principle and how we can parallel it into our lives today. So, there was conversation about who was the greatest or what have you. Christ makes it plain. He says the person who is the greatest in the room will be the person that's able to serve or service everyone else in the room. Okay. Now listen at this. This means that when you're in the room, the person that becomes most profitable to everybody else in the room, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the greatest person. When you have a person that's able to serve or service you, and when I say serve, I'm not necessarily talking about as a waiter or waitress who will wait your table, serve your table. I'm talking about serving you in emotional support, wisdom, insight, encouragement, inspiration. The people who are able to offer you that, the people who are able to lift you up, those are the greatest people, because those people not only carry the responsibility and ability to lift you or hold themselves up, but they also carry the ability to lift someone else up with them and hold someone else up. And so, if in fact you are in a situation and you're the only person in your life that's coming up, then you got to reassess your greatness, regardless of what levels of success you may see in life. There comes a time when you have to be able to repeat and complete the exact same thing that you've done to become successful. You have to be able to offer that to others. So your greatness begins whenever you begin to conceptualize or develop the mentality that this is too good for me to keep it to myself, or this is greater than what I can totally contain. So I've got to share this with someone else. I've got to be able to bring somebody else alongside me. I gotta make sure that those around me are sharing or have access to the same experience that I have. Now, with that being said, you understand the second part of what he says. He says, "But whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased." If you are lifting yourself up, then you're going to be humbled, because at some point you are responsible for keeping you up there. But those who humble themselves, the Bible says, he shall be exalted. In that, that elevation is coming from God and not themselves. You can lift yourself up and probably maintain for a good minute. But eventually, what goes up comes down according to the irrevocable laws of the universe. It's called gravity, the law of gravity. Whatever goes up comes down. But if God elevates you, God is able to break the rules because he's not subject to the laws of the universe. He's able to exalt you and sustain you in an elevated state of being. And so now, having said that, I want to draw a parallel. I want to draw a parallel with you, because what this 12th verse is saying is sometimes in life you have to tone down in order to glow up. You get it? Sometimes you have to tone down to glow up. Sometimes you gotta pull off of social media. Sometimes you gotta fly under the radar. You don't want to always be able to be tracked, and you don't want people to see and know everything, because you understand that it is a process. And when you're spiritually minded, you understand that I am where I am, who I am, how I am at the time that I am, because of God's will and not because of any of my own doings. It is the will of God that I be here at this particular point, at this particular time, and in this particular place. And as a result of it, I'm going to fly off the radar, or I'm going to tone down until I can better understand what to do with what God is doing with me. Wow. And the incredible thing about that is, the more from day to day, the more I am, along with my partners that I invest with, the more I am looking at our economy, the world economy, and how it works, and it's namely the money market, stock market, crypto markets, all this stuff. I found and I discovered a parallel between the principles in which the stock markets work by and the principles that was laid out here in Matthew 23, because the chapter 12 says, whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and whosoever shall humble himself shall be exalted. So in the stock market, whenever we're investing and we have a what we call a bull run. We're in a bull cycle right now, just entering into one, and there are different divisions. I'm not going to go into all of that, but I want to make it as simple as possible. For those of you who said you want to understand how stocks work, I'm about to get ready to give you just a really, really, really simple principle of how it works. And you'll find that your life operates a parallel to the stock market. So in the stock market, if it's crypto market, if you find a coin that you want to invest in, or if you find a stock in the stock market that you want to invest in, what you do is the best investments that you'll find, you have to find them at the bottom. You have to find them when they're at the cheapest price point, so that it doesn't cost you a lot. And the concept and the idea is to buy it while it's low, in faith, believing that it will rise, because you can watch the performance and check the history and the pattern and know that this particular stock or this particular coin has the potential, not the value, but the potential. Because right now the value is low, but it has the potential, kind of like your life. Regardless of where you may be and where you once was, according to where you actually are, even though you may not have the value at this moment, you still have the potential. So even at your lowest points and lowest places and lowest and most challenging experiences in life, you still have to have enough faith in God to invest in what He's placed in you while it's at the lowest, based upon the potential of what God can do in and with your life and in and through your life. So you make the investment there. What happens through time, there are certain seasons in the stock market and crypto market. It comes every 4 years, in the crypto market especially, every 4 years that we have what we call a bull run or a bull cycle. During the bull cycle, this is as a result of the crypto market being tested for 3 seasons prior. You have 3 seasons that precede the bull market. And I think that it's no coincidence that it's also a parallel with the fact that we have 4 seasons in life to complete a cycle. You have winter, spring, summer, fall. And so in the crypto market, you have these 3 seasons, and then the 4th season, with completes the cycle before everything starts over again. That season, that final season, is the best season of the previous 3, right? And so what happens prior to the bull cycle coming, and this is the part I want you to hear, and you probably say this is not making no sense to me yet, but it's about to. What happens prior to you entering into that 4th season in the crypto market? What happens is everything that had performed at its best, it go through 3 seasons of what we call correction. And correction is whenever you pull back from your highs and you revisit your lows. You revisit some of the price points that it was in the earlier times. You come back to your base. You begin to revisit the foundation in which you have been built upon, or which the coin have been built upon. You see the beginning days. You reconnect with where you started, reminiscing at what you had accomplished. But the correction is, I don't ever want you to get so far away from where you started. Come on. I don't want you to get far away. That's why the scripture says, despise not the days of small beginnings. In other words, remember these days. And so in the crypto market, what happens, it doesn't matter how your coin may run throughout the prior seasons. There comes a time when there must be a correction. It's got to come down, because sometimes it gets too high for itself. And if a coin run too high, then it's oversold, is what we call it. And some of us, we're in seasons now where God has allowed us to begin to correct because we were oversold. You say, how am I oversold? That's when you stretch too thin. You've overcommitted yourself to certain things. You're carrying more weight and inflation and burden than you ought to be carrying. You're worrying about things that when in the beginning you used to be able to give it to God, but now you're so great and you've been elevated so much to now you feel responsible for keeping it. So whenever you're entering into correction, that is God saying, at ease, let me do it the way that I do it. And so while you may be experiencing things and moments right now where it seems like you're in correction, where God is rolling you back from all the stuff that you thought you knew and some of the stuff that you accomplished and you held up as a star, God is saying, no, I need for you to tone that down. We're going to come into correction. And so you begin to revisit the beginning. You start getting back to your roots. You start getting back to the reason why God made you who he was. You start getting back to the process of how to maintain close proximity with God and how to maintain your relationship. You start getting back to family values and how important it is to have a connection with your children and your spouse. And you begin to get back to why it's important that you maintain healthy relationships with your family, and regardless of how many generations that there's been a divide in the family, you start realizing that it's important for the family to have strong relationships, and this is called correction. You're going through a correction. It's a correction. God is bringing you down, getting you back to the principal things, because sometimes as we are ascending according to our accomplishments, we lose the principles. We lose the principles that qualified us in the beginning to be elevated. And so what happens is when you're after correction comes, we have in the stock market where we call it consolidation. Consolidation is when you're moving, but you're not moving up or you're not moving down. You're moving sideways. And many of us are in that place right now, and you're kind of frustrated. We kind of irritated, aggravated, because we're trying to see, okay, I feel God moving in my life, but I can't tell whether I'm going up or going down. Consolidation is whenever you begin to move sideways. This is whenever God allows you to embrace the correction, because just because God has you in a correction season don't mean that you embrace it. But once you turn around and embrace what God is doing by humbling you, what God is doing by rolling you back, as you begin to embrace it, you begin to move sideways, which means you're still moving. You're not going up. You're not going down. You're just coming to terms with this is the season that God has me in right now. And you'll move sideways until you fully embrace that God knows what's best. You'll continue to move sideways until you get everything that you're supposed to get out of that season. Are you listening to me? So while you are in this consolidation and you're moving sideways, God is helping you to come to terms with everything. such as you're not responsible to save the whole world. You cannot help anyone more than you're able and willing to help yourself. You can love others more than you love yourself. And you cannot also be the center of everything. Everything can't always be about you. There are some things you have to come to terms with. You have to also understand in your consolidation period, you come to terms with that in life there will be ups and there will be downs. Your life is not just an acceleration or elevation always. You have to be able to learn the balance of elevation and how to navigate the turbulent winds and how to not panic whenever life is wavy. And so whenever you're in consolidation and you're coming to terms with this, your consolidation period will last as long as it takes for you to understand exactly what's going on and embrace exactly what God is doing. Right? And so in the crypto market, now watch this. In the crypto market, after you come out of consolidation and when it's time to elevate again, what you have to do is you have to break the resistance of of the prior fall, of what brought you down in the beginning, what caused you to have to go through the season and the process of correction. You'll begin to elevate, but you will have to challenge. You will have to challenge on your way up the things that brought you down. Did you hear that? You will have to be challenged on your way back up with the things that have brought you down. So if part of the reason why you had to go into correction is because you were prideful on your way back up, you're going to have to be challenged in your pride. If in fact what brought you down is your inability to be a good financial steward over what God has blessed you with, on your way back up, you're going to be challenged with your stewardship. So everything that played a part of you coming down on your way back up, you have to be faced with that resistance. And when you're faced with that resistance, every time you break through, you are able to run up to your next point of resistance. So coming down is important because when you're coming down into correction, if you're taking notes and you're paying attention to how God is working in your life, you'll know exactly what you're being challenged with on your way back up. And on your way back up, you won't be so blindsided every time you hit resistance and say, oh no, the Lord not elevating me because I'm faced with this challenge. I done had to deal with this before. Yeah, but the first time you had to deal with it, you was dealing with it on your way down. But I'm telling you today prophetically that God said the challenges that you're seeing these days are not the same challenges that brought you down. These are the challenges and the points of resistance on your way back up. And if in fact you will continue to allow me to exalt you, if you will continue to maintain and operate in your humility, I will through your humility give you everything you need to break through the resistance that caused you to come down in the first place. And so you begin to go through what we call in the stock market a reversal now. You're coming out of consolidation, you're on your way back up, and you're entering into a reversal. This is when God begins to turn around everything that brought you down, all the things that worked against you. This is where all things work together for the good of them who love the Lord, who are the called according to his purpose. This is the reversal. This is where the thing looked one way from the beginning, but now God is going to reverse it and replace it back where it was originally. But the greatest part about this correction is in the correction, once you reach the highest point in your last season, you have the potential, the momentum, and the power to break through your last peak or your last high. And we call this in the stock market, we call this all-time highs, new all-time highs. Whenever you enter into a bull season, you always have the potential to create new all-time highs because your momentum going back up or your momentum in the reversal is always greater than the prior. And so what you have right now is great. What you have right now on your way back up is greater than what you had before. Because everything that you learn going up and everything that you learn coming down in correction and everything that you learn in your consolidation is now empowering you in your reversal. So the things that you didn't know then, you know now. And so you are approaching it in a different mentality, a different, you're approaching it from a different vantage point. You see it different. You experience it different. You know it different. And as a result, you speak different. And when I say you speak different, you are able to look back at the charts of your life and say, okay, on the way back up, I see I'm going to have some resistance here, but we're going to break through that. And this all-time high is where I'm coming, what my target is, because I've already reached this. Every time a coin or stock is coming out of correction, whether it's the Dow Jones or the S&P 500 or NASDAQ, regardless of what it is, when it's coming out of correction, it has one purpose and one focus, and that is to get back to where I came from, get back to the highest level of experience in its performance in the market. And that should be your same intention, your same agenda, your same focus and goal. At this point where you are in life, you need to be focused on getting back to the place where you performed at your peak. Not trying to say like, okay, I just want peace of mind. If the Lord just give me peace of mind and put a roof over my head. Well, you've already had that, so you should want more. Why don't you expect any more from God than what he's already done for you? Why aren't you expecting God to perform more than what he's already performed? If that's all your expectation is limited to, then you're asking God to just take you through a season where you experiencing nothing but reruns. You know, we have our favorite shows that we like to watch. You know, everybody like to put on a little Martin before they go to bed. Some people like to watch the Jamie Foxx show. Some people like to watch Andy Griffith if you're a little bit older. But however and whoever, you don't want to live your life based up on reruns. We're not asking God, we're not believing God to do what he's already done. We're believing that he's going to actually do exceeding abundantly above all that we could ask or think. In other words, we're believing God to set new all-time highs whenever you're coming out of a correction, when you're coming out of consolidation, and when you're in a reversal. You're not believing God to do the same thing anymore. And if, in fact, you're in consolidation or you're in correction or you're in reversal, I want to challenge you not to believe God just to get back to where you have been before, not just to experience what you've already experienced and be limited to that. I want to challenge you this morning to believe God for something that is beyond whatever you've experienced in times past. If I were you, to myself at this very moment, I would just confess before the Lord right now, Lord, I want to experience new all-time highs. I want to go to places that I haven't been before. I'm not tired of believing you for greater. I'm not weary when it comes to considering what it takes to get greater, because I've been corrected, I've been consolidating, and now I'm in reversal. I have my second win, and I'm ready to go to new all-time highs. Are you listening to me? Oh my God, we're just about out of time. I'm so sorry. I talked the whole time, didn't I? It's correction, it's consolidation, and then it's reversal. And after reversal, it's new all-time highs. If you feel yourself coming back to yourself, if you feel yourself coming back to what God desired for you originally, the will of God for your life, the purpose, the plan of God for your life, if you feel yourself coming back to that, I'm telling you, you are in the best place possible. This is a reversal for you. This is a reversal for you. Type it in your notes on your phone. Set up notifications in your wireless devices for you to get reminders throughout the day that I'm in reversal, or I'm in correction, or I'm in consolidation. Wherever you are right now, set notifications, say it out loud, speak it so that you'll know it, because you know that you have to look for what you have to look forward to. And what you have to look forward to, regardless of whether you're in correction, consolidation, or your reversal, you have new all-time highs to look forward to. Yeah, you have new all-time highs to look forward to, and it's up from here. Listen, thank you so much for sharing these few minutes with me on a Sunday morning. You could do anything you want to with your time, and I am grateful that you are sharing this moment with me throughout the course of your life. You have one life, and you've chosen to share a little time with me this morning. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful and appreciative, and just humbled by the privilege that I have to have a front row seat, a VIP section in your life, to watch you develop and to watch you elevate in life. It is my pleasure and my privilege. So I want to thank you all for connecting with us this morning. I want you all to have the greatest week going into this next week, understanding that I'm either in correction, consolidation, or reversal. But either way, my new all-time highs are on the other side of this. Be encouraged, keep pressing in, stay focused, and don't fall back, don't pull back. Amen. So before you continue with the rest of your day, please take a moment and go and make a donation. Those of you who may not know how to make your donations, reach out to the person that shared this link with you or invited you. They'll be able to give that information to you. If you need me next Sunday morning before 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, you reach out to me, and I will get back with you at my earliest convenience. You can reach me by DM, inbox, email, text message, phone call. However, if I'm unable to respond immediately at my earliest convenience, I will get back with you. Thank you again so much for joining us. I love these Sunday morning sessions. I'll see you on next Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time again. And I bid you all blessings and Godspeed. Let's go up. New all-time highs. That's what's happening.
Tell them me claim it, all of my blessings, my name it. With faith, me I go own it. Nothing shall get home it. Speak life, it is a new day. All things in my past, yeah. Welcome to the new year. Me step out in faith and no fear. Blessings go find me, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss if ever gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Money gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss the blessings gonna find me here. Oh na 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 na. Let me claim it. All of my blessings, my name it. With faith, me I go own it. Nothing shall get home it. Speak life, it is a new day. All things in my past, yeah. Welcome to the new year. Me step out in faith and no fear. Blessings go find me, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss if ever gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Money gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss the blessings gonna find me here. Oh na 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 na. Let me claim it. All of my blessings, my name it. With faith,
We'll see about a Monday morning power hour. We'll see about it.
Speak life, it is a new day. All things in my past, yeah. Welcome to the new year. Me step out in faith and no fear. Blessings go find me, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss if ever gonna find me here.
Love you guys. Bid you blessings and Godspeed.